Welcome back, everyone. We made it to the finish line. This is part 99 of our 100-part comprehensive explainer series. All right, today we're going into pure coach mode. You've studied the guidelines, you know your anatomy, you've memorized those modifiers, but listen, all of that knowledge, it means absolutely nothing if you don't have the execution strategy to match. It's like having a Ferrari, but not knowing how to drive a stick shift. When those massive, heavy coding manuals are sitting on your desk and the clock starts ticking, you need a rock-solid plan. Today's explainer is the final sprint, part 1, focusing entirely on high-yield test-taking strategy and logistics. Before we get into the game plan, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal. All right, let's dive right in.
So here's our battle plan for today. We'll start with a logistics overview, then get into book flagging hacks, pacing and time management, question dissection, and wrap it all up with a final cheat sheet. All right, section 1. Let's start with a quick CPC exam logistics overview. 100. That's the exact number of multiple choice questions standing between you and your certification. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and every single question carries the exact same weight. Snagging a point on a simple anatomy definition counts just as much as surviving a grueling 2-page orthopedic surgery report. And here's the kicker. Your time limit is exactly 4 hours. That is your absolute ceiling. Honestly, the clock is your biggest adversary on test day. 4 hours sounds like a massive amount of time, right? Well, not when you're staring down a wildly complex surgical report and second-guessing your modifier choice. How you manage this window dictates your success just as much as your clinical knowledge.
Now, the format is open book, so you are armed. But you're only armed with strictly approved, current year manuals. That's your CPT, your ICD-10-CM, and your HCPCS Level 2. These are your only weapons. You really don't want to drag in an outdated book, or worse, unapproved materials. The proctors will catch it, for sure. You need to know exactly how to wield the current editions efficiently.
Moving on to section 2, book flagging and tab navigation hacks.
Look, there's a brilliant line between legal preparation and immediate disqualification. Permitted tools include permanent tabs, color coding systems, and highlighting. You want to use these aggressively. Tab your modifiers appendix, color code your radiology notes, basically make the book work for you. But beware of the prohibited items. No loose papers, absolutely no glued-in cheat sheets, and definitely no elaborate handwritten notes that look like extra pages. Do not risk a voided exam over illegal book modifications. It's just not worth it. So, the crucial golden rule you need to remember is this. The exam rewards navigation speed more than memorization. Seriously, burn this quote into your brain. I used to think I had to memorize every single obscure code, but I realized later you just need to know exactly where to find it. Utilizing your index, navigation shortcuts, and your custom tabs is vastly superior to just flipping pages numerically, crossing your fingers, and hoping you somehow land on the right anatomical site.
Okay, section 3. Let's talk about time management and pacing strategy.
Let's do the math real quick. 4 hours for 100 questions means you have approximately 2.4 minutes per question. That's it. 2.4 minutes to read a complex surgical case, check your index, verify the tabular list, check the guidelines, and bubble in your answer. Balancing speed and accuracy is literally everything here, which means you absolutely cannot afford to get lost in the weeds on a single question. To consistently hit that 2.4-minute average, you need a rigid pacing framework. Do not just answer questions 1 to 100 sequentially. Instead, break your 4 hours into 3 distinct passes. Step 1. Spend your first 90 to 110 minutes grabbing the easy wins. These are your straightforward lookups and clear modifier questions. Step 2. Spend the next 90 minutes on medium complexity scenarios. Step 3. Use your remaining time for the flagged time sinks. You know, those massive multi-procedure surgery cases that make you want to pull your hair out.
This brings us to the pass and return strategy. This is triage, pure and simple. If you are stuck on a question for more than 90 seconds, flag it and move on. Don't let one difficult multi-paragraph case study steal the time you could have used to secure 3 easy anatomy points. Grab the easy points first, build up that confidence, and return to the tough ones later.
Let's push forward to section 4, high-yield question dissection tactics.
I realized the biggest trap is starting by reading the giant clinical note first. By the time you get to the bottom, you've completely forgotten the top. Instead, follow this exact reading order. Step 1, always read the question stem and the multiple choice options first. Understand what they are actually testing. Is it a modifier difference or a specific code family? Step 2, identify the body system and the surgical approach.
Then, and only then, step 3, dive into the clinical documentation to hunt for the specific keywords that differentiate your options. When it comes to smart elimination versus overthinking, you've got to cross out the obvious wrong code ranges the second you read the stem. If the options give you 2 codes for the upper body and 2 for the lower body, and you know the surgery was on the foot, boom, you immediately cross out 2 options. You are now at a 50-50 split in 5 seconds flat. Don't over-deliberate. Your first reason choice is usually the right one.
Almost there. Section 5, our final exam cheat sheet.
Here is your rapid-fire summary. 100 questions, 4 hours, averaging 2.4 minutes each. Maximize your manuals using strictly legal permanent tabs and color coding to build that critical navigation speed. Enforce the pass and return triage method so you don't get bogged down on any single problem. And finally, always read the question stem first to intelligently eliminate wrong codes before you even look at the clinical note. Sticking to this framework prevents fatigue and keeps you completely in control of the exam.
We have covered a massive amount of strategic ground today in this explainer, but we aren't done yet. Coming up is our grand finale, part 100 of the series, where we'll dive into a full mock exam simulation and go over the ultimate exam day checklist to guarantee your certification success. You absolutely won't want to miss it. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Will you let the 4-hour clock control you, or will you control the clock? Implementing the strategies we talked about today is exactly how you take control. You've got the knowledge, and now you have the strategy. Keep studying hard, and I will see you in part 100 for the final sprint.